everyone, it's Julia and welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, we are going to be doing the second project using this bunny design that I have available in my Etsy shop, and that link will be down below. This particular bunny comes in two different sizes. There's the smaller size and the larger size. We used this larger size in last week's project, which was a pillow. And I'm going to link that video down below for you and also show you a picture of the bunny pillow here. This bunny pillow has already gone to its new owner, so I don't have it to show on this video. But today we're going to be working on the smaller bunny and be creating these little journals. So I hope you enjoy this. Let's get started. I'm using a heavy cotton duck cloth for the outside of this, and I rip it down to size, and the size is 11 inches wide by 9 inches high. I really like the look of the fraying on it, and that is the reason why I just rip it instead of cutting it. The inside print is the same, cut the same dimension, the 11 inches wide by 9 inches high. And then I'm using a double-sided heavy Peltex interfacing or stabilizer, and this is cut 10 inches wide by 8 inches high, so an inch smaller all the way around than the outside. And I'm rounding the corners here. I just find that it's a lot easier to sew with the corners rounded. I'm using some strips, and these strips I had previously cut on our first project. I'm just using a few of those for the outside. I also, for the tie, have ribbon cut. This is like 12 inches. Lace would work, seam binding, whatever trim you have. And I'm putting an inside pocket on this as well. And that pocket is 6.5 inches high by 5.5 inches wide. Just taking the Peltex here, and I've got it on the back side of my inside fabric, and I'm just ironing that into place. Now I'm moving my iron around so it's not going to stick to my cutting surface. I'm just clipping these corners and then ironing those corners up, and then with my iron just ironing all the way around this, making that edge really smooth. I'm trying to make sure that my iron does not hit this double-sided Peltex. I don't want it to stick to that, but just creasing it down all the way around. And then I'm going to give it a fold just so I have the center. For the inside pocket, I'm pressing under approximately 1/2 inch all the way around this pocket. I'm decorating this pocket by adding a stamp. I'm just using my Ranger ink for this and just stamping this image. Any rubber stamp would work for this. This one happens to have the date on it. Just lining this up. I'm going to add a little piece of lace to the top before I stitch the pocket into place. And stitch that lace and then stitch that pocket right onto this inside fabric. And now I can add a tag onto the outside, just giving my fold line just so I can see where the front of it is, and just going to lay a patchwork just by taking a couple of these pieces and just doing a real easy, simple design. I'm going to take this to my sewing machine now and just stitching all the way around, doing some free motion and also some decorative stitching on this. And you can see I did a little feather stitch using multicolored thread and just some meander stitch. I'm using some white gesso. I want to add some paint or gesso to the front of this. I'm just going to use my brayer, and not a lot of paint on this or gesso, whatever you decide to use. And I'm doing this just to give it a whitewash so my bunny shows up a little bit better. Totally optional if you don't want to add the paint. I really like the look of this, even over the thread. It just adds a real painterly, just an artsy type look to it. You can see I'm running some of that gesso off on these tags. I like to add just different things on tags before, and I'll set those tags aside and use them for future projects. I have some Heidi Swap stencils here, and these are a heavy cardboard. I'm using some distress inks. Everything will be listed down below, but I wanted to share with you these makeup brushes. I have a wonderful viewer sent these to me, and I really like them, especially for these thicker stencils like this. It's just an easy way to get that paint in there. I find them easier to control than the foam ones. Really fun to work with. And I want to add a little stencil to the front, to the pocket too. Now this distress ink is not washable. This is not a washable project. Now it's on to my bunny design. Again, I'm using the Solvy, which is a water-soluble stabilizer. I'm just cutting the amount that I need to cover my little bunny here. I'm using a Uniball pen to trace this bunny. I find this pen works really well to do this tracing. Ballpoint pens really don't work very well, so you want to experiment with your pen. I think the gel pens work. My little design is completely drawn on, and I'm just going to pin it into place. I'll be heading over to my sewing machine now, and I will be adding my little bunny using free motion. I have my free motion foot on. I have my feed dogs dropped. My stitch length is set to 0. I do have black thread on the bottom, or darker thread, and I am using a brown thread in the top. I find that using the same color or similar color in the bobbin is going to help, especially if your sewing machine's tension isn't quite right, so you don't see that white bobbin to the top. Now notice on these whiskers how I'm doing this. I am traveling on the little bunny's cheek, so I don't have to cut my thread as often. And just traveling right on the cheek and then going back and forth on these whiskers. And I do like to do my design more than once or trace it more than once. And then the ears, the same way, going over my lines twice. It doesn't matter if you don't exactly get on the second time. I do like that sketchy look. The eyeballs, I'm just going to go back and forth and fill in the eyeballs a little bit and then on back down. And then I cut my thread, and I am going to be doing the bunny's face. And filling in his nose just by going back and forth. Now to remove that Solvy, I just tear the bigger pieces. It tears very easily and doesn't distort any of the stitches. And then I had a wonderful viewer just leave this comment on an easy trick to get the little pieces, like the in between the little whiskers and things that aren't it's hard to get to. You just take a wet paper towel or a dry paper towel and spritz it with water, and then put a dry paper towel over the top, and then use your iron, and all of that is just gonna, it's just really slick. All those little pieces just come up right on that paper towel. Now you notice I have some pink showing up as well. That ink, that distress ink, is not permanent, so just be cautious of that. It didn't matter for this particular project, but if it's going to be a washable thing, you're going to want to use a washable ink pad. Now this is just so slick. Now this is just all ready to iron right into place. I'm just getting it nice and even, making sure that the crease is where the crease should be, and then taking my iron and just going over it, just to adhere that inside to the cover. Just flipping it over, and I'm going to add those little ribbons right in the center, just tucking a little bit underneath. And then we'll be stitching this into place. I edge stitch this entire inside, and we'll go back and forth where those ribbons are. And I'm going to edge stitch really close to the edge all the way around. Now to do the little holes for the binding, I'm just going to use my Crop-a-Dile. Now I'm not cutting in or poking into my stitching at all. I'm on the inside of my stitching line for this, and I'm just doing 2 holes. I'm using my Crop-a-Dile on the largest hole. And now I'm going to head, without using any grommets or anything, I just love this technique. It gives a real organic look to it. Just at my sewing machine again, and I'm just going to go around and around and around this hole to reinforce it. And that's what it looks like on the outside, and I'm going to flip it over and you can see what it looks like on the inside. It's a really easy way to bind your journal. I wanted to share some of the papers that I use. I collect, and anytime I see it, I collect these little books. This is a 1926, can you believe it, journal. So I'll take a page out of that. This is a 1941 little calendar type book. So sweet. I love picking these up at the flea markets or whatever. It's a viewer sent me this pack. Again, just a really cool paper. And then again, another old journal that I picked up in an antique mall. And I'll tear out a page, and some of those little ones I'll just hook in with a paper clip, just to add a little bit of different things to in the inside of the journal. I like to use an assortment of papers. This is a scanned image of a linen, and I do have this as a pack in my Etsy store. That'll be linked down below as well. I do have some of the transparent ones in that pack. I like using these in journals because you can write over the top very easily. All different sizes. This is a tea-dyed one, and by placing this paper doiling on your tea-dyed paper before you bake it, you get this image. It's just really cool. I like to do that when I'm doing my tea dyeing. I actually use instant coffee for mine. All sorts of different sizes, and some of them is composition paper. I do have lined and unlined paper, and some of it's just scraps of cardstock that I have left over from other projects. I'm folding them in half. I do like to have one of those folded linens in the center. After I have my 10 or 12 papers gathered up, I'm going to stick them inside my book and just see how much how much sticks out, and I'm going to make a mark there. Adding some clips just to keep it all together. And then I take a metal ruler and a snap blade, and I make sure my blade is sharp. It's just a snap X-Acto blade, and just running it down to get a nice even cut. And then it's on to making my second signature. That I, like I said, have 2 signatures in each one of these journals. This is a very easy no-sew binding. I'm going to take a cord. This is like a baker's twine, about a yard of it, and then a piece of wire that I have folded in half. I'm going to add some beads to the bottom and also an old key, but any charms would work, buttons would work. Just stringing that cord. I'm going through the bottom hole first, through the top hole, and then grabbing my first signature, stringing this through and through the bottom. I just noticed that my first string came out of the bottom hole, so I'm going to add my wire to that again and put that back through that bottom hole. Everything goes through the bottom hole twice. And now I have this thread. I'm just going to pull everything tight, and I'm just going to tie a knot on this first cord. You do the second signature the same way, just passing that through the bottom hole first, through the top, adding the signature, through the bottom, and then tie a knot with that first string. This is a wonderful binding, especially if you want to be able to take your pages out to decorate them. You can add pages if you need. And just stringing these bead on. And I have this bead going on all 4 of those strands at this point. And just using, these are a large hold wood beads that I'm using. And just using that wire to get all 4 of those cords through that hole. Once all my beads are added, I tie a knot with all 4 of those cords. And then I'm going to add my key, and I'm just going to add it onto one of my strings. Thanks everybody for joining me today. I hope you have a chance to create. Bye for now.